All right, UMAC fans, we are here for another season preview. This time we are talking 2021 spring volleyball. We are excited for this new unique format for our volleyball student athletes and teams. We have with us today North Central University head coach Faith Ooms, and we are excited to talk to her today about her program and the upcoming season. So Faith, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here, Sarah. Thanks.
So spring volleyball, that is unique and something that we haven't done before, but we're really looking forward to it. And our programs missed out on their fall seasons, and obviously that's been a challenge for all of our sports. But what does it mean for you and your program to finally have this opportunity for competition after having such a long break from when you normally would compete?
Yeah, Sarah, we're ready. We're really excited. I think it means a lot. Just I think volleyball and most sports are taken as just like an outlet, safe haven, even just a great way to stay on top of academics. And so I think that means a lot for our freshmen and seniors, especially. Freshmen have had a hard senior year and coming into a hard college year. I think sports is kind of that one thing that can stay close to home to them, that they can continue on. And then, of course, our seniors that have been in the program for 4 years and have just worked so hard not to just play, but to be a legacy and impact. That means a great deal. And then I also think from a leadership perspective, something that's been really cool is just to see, the UMAC, our athletic directors, fight for something so hard. And so, we teach grit to our athletes. We teach to not make excuses, to never give up. And so for us to not use COVID as an excuse to, let down, I think goes a really long way for our athletes to know that, we're going to lead by example in a way that that goes past circumstances and hard times. So we're excited to play, bottom line.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think where you were talking about not using COVID as an excuse, I think that's really important. And I think it's been something that you hear consistently on just the opportunity to play is motivating for our student athletes. And so what have been some of the challenges and what have been some things that have helped get ready for this season, even when, we were in the fall thinking we may have a season, and then to have that kind of quickly change, and now having this prospect of a spring season, but not quite sure if it's going to happen, and now it's here. What have been some of the challenges in preparing for this year with all of the unknowns, and how have you kept your team motivated?
Yeah, I think to touch on the fall a little bit, every circumstance also has an opportunity tied to it. So I think the fall was honestly a great opportunity to slow everything down, to really get to know our players from a deeper level, just dynamically work on some things that you don't usually have time to. And it's never about starters versus non-starters, it's just about family. So the fall was great, but the spring definitely has challenges, I agree. Just from a athlete perspective, we're juggling court time. Our dual athletes are killing it and juggling that. And there's just a ton of changes. So from that athletic side is a little bit more than we're used to. And then just jobs. A lot of my players are in theater or musicals, and they're usually having those in the spring. And then classes. I don't know about other coaches, but I tell all my players to kind of stack up their credits a little bit more in the spring and have an easier fall, And so with this quick pivot, I think girls are taking a heavier class load. But I think to sum it all up, I don't think that there's been as much of a rhythm as we're used to. A lot of changes have to deal with that, but I think it's just like getting this mindset that, in the spring, there's a heavy load and changes, and you're still doing volleyball, and all those opportunities are great. It's just different, and so when things are different, it's hard to stay on top of things. It's hard to have confidence in that way. And so I think that's the challenge. But what I love about the girls is that their mindset is like, we'll do whatever it takes to play, you know, and that's so cool to see that, that their mindset hasn't changed, even though their circumstances have changed a lot.
Yeah, I think that has been something that's resonated with all of our sports is this is unknown, but athletes are learning to adapt more than they probably ever have had to before and are doing it successfully. So I think that's really good to hear as we kind of come up to the season. So what is one thing that's kind of kept the team motivated with this longer break?
I think I'm kind of going off of what you said is we're still doing this successfully. Sometimes it's hard to really grasp what's all happening when things are different. But I think we are finding success. And my biggest phrase as a coach is, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it. That makes the biggest difference and that people actually see. So I think our response, not just our volleyball program, but the UMAC, our teams in general, have responded with, you know, like a lot of grit, a lot of never giving up, lack of excuses. And I really appreciate that. And you touched on this too as well, but we can't control what's going on, you know, and that's okay sometimes. We have a lot of, I call them calculators on our team, girls that like to plan and process, and I'm that way too sometimes, but it's more of a like, let go, let God season. Just let it happen and enjoy what you can. And there's going to be hard circumstances, but that's good. You know, like that's okay to move forward. And so I think we've grown more united because the common enemy this year is COVID, not our competitors, not, you know, like the small petty things or injuries, you know. I think we're united, not just as a team, but as a UMAC that, you know, we're going to get through this together and we're all going through similar and different things and that we can just join in the fact that we have similar circumstances and we get to push through. So.
Yeah, I think that's really positive and good and help keep people going forward. And I think is a good way to kind of approach the season. So what are you personally most looking forward to about the upcoming season? I know I'm guessing for your players it's getting to play, but I'm curious if that's the same for you.
Yeah, no, personally, I'm excited to see hard work turn into execution. You know, I think tangible growth is something that you can't really just see always in practice, but you can see it, you know, in games and in the ins and outs and the small things. And so it's just been cool to see so much growth on our team in general. I think this year has been way more about the sport. And I've really actually liked that transition. And so growth, yes, on the court, but I think also growth in how we respond to circumstances, how we don't make excuses. And I think that will translate also onto the court too. So I'm just looking forward to seeing growth in a tangible way. And I also am just looking forward to seeing all of our volleyball coaches again and seeing other teams. I really have a lot of respect for all of our opponents. And so just coming together and again, we have kind of this common problem, we have this common enemy, and I think we can kind of unite even though we are competing. And I think that will be really unique this year is that we feel more united than usual. And I'm sure there'll be hard times too, but ultimately I think we're all in general on the same big team. So
yeah, and I think that has been evident, especially in the volleyball group. There's just the coaching staff is, you know, so amicable and works together well. And you've seen that definitely this year as we've kind of worked through those challenges. So I'm excited for you and for all of our teams to get back on the court and really just appreciate you taking time to talk about this year and get ready for the season with us. So thanks so much for joining us, Faith, and good luck in this unique season.